Good morning, and welcome to another First Five. It doesn't take a lot of reading the words of Jesus to realize that he often comes after the same group of people over and over and over again. And he comes after these people because these are the people who need correcting the most. And it stings a little bit when you make this realization, and the realization is that Jesus goes after religious people the most. He goes after religious people in a corrective sense. And the reason he does this is because religious people are the ones who think they have this figured out. Myself included am a religious person. And often we fall into this trap where we think we have the rules figured out, or the processes figured out, or this, that, and the other figured out. We think we're doing the right things to accomplish the right goals. And because of that, we get proud of the process. It feels good to be good at something, and religion is not an exception to that rule. Today we find ourselves in Luke chapter 18. And starting in verse 9, Jesus tells a parable. And this parable is about behaviors. And it's about the difference between behaviors and heart. And we find in Luke 18, starting in verse 9, it says, "To some who were confident of their own righteousness and looked down on everybody else, Jesus told this parable. 2 men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee stood up and prayed about himself, 'God, I thank you that I am not like other men, robbers, evildoers, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week and give a tenth of all I get.' But the tax collector stood at a distance. He would not even look up to heaven, but beat his breast and said, 'God, have mercy on me, a sinner.' I tell you that this man, rather than the other, went home justified before God. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted." Here we find a story of 2 men. One, by title, very religious. The one is supposed to have everything figured out. The one, this Pharisee, would understand the Bible through and through. The other, a tax collector who does a profession who is often associated with stealing from people and sin, is not expected to know all of the rules of religion. And of these 2 men, Jesus says, one is justified before God. And the reason is simple. And the reason is this, is that the tax collector went to prayer in humility and said, "I'm imperfect. Be gracious on me." And in that humility, truly sees the relationship that we have to God, and that is a eternal thankfulness and eternal humility, because we don't deserve what we're getting. If we would get what we deserved, we wouldn't ever want to know what that is. While meanwhile, the religious person, the Pharisee, looks to God and says, "I am so thankful I'm not like them." Religion often makes us an us and them people, but the reality is, in this story, them, the others, those who are honest with who they are the ones that God finds just. Not those of us who look at the rules and say, "I got this figured out. Look how good I'm doing, and I'm secure in that." Go about this day and go forward. Don't be secure in the rules and your accomplishment, but instead, find your peace in the fact that you can go to God in humility and ask for grace, and he freely gives it. But the requirement is that you're humble, rather than exalting yourself over your accomplishments. I hope you enjoyed this, and have a great day, and we'll see you at another First Five.